Section VAERA. And the Lord spake with Moshe, and said to him, I am the Lord who revealed myself to thee in the midst of the bush, and said to thee, I am the Lord. And I was revealed unto Abraham, and to Isaac, and to Jacob as I Shaddai, but my name ye are, as it discovereth my glory, one was not known to them. Jerusalem. And the Lord was revealed in his word unto Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob as the God of heaven, but the name of the word of the Lord was not known to them. And I confirmed also my covenant with them, to give them the land of Canaan, the land of the sojourning in which they were sojourners. And now cometh before me the groaning of the sons of Israel, because the Mizraim do enslave them, and I remember my covenant. Therefore say to the sons of Israel, I am the Lord, and I will bring you forth from the oppressive bondage of the Mizraim, and will deliver you from your servitude, and save you with an uplifted arm, and by great judgments. And I will bring you nigh before me to be a people, and I will be a God unto you, and you shall know that I am the Lord your God, who hath led you forth from the hard service of the Mizraim. And I will bring you into the land which I covenanted by my word to give unto Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, and I will give it to you for an inheritance. I am the Lord. And Moshe spake according to this to the sons of Israel, but they received not from Moshe, through anxiety of spirit, and from the strange and hard service which was upon the hands. Jerusalem. From anxiety. And the Lord spake to Moshe, saying, Go in, speak with Pharaoh, the king of Mizraim, that he release the children of Israel from his land. And Moshe said before the Lord, Behold, the sons of Israel do not hearken to me, how then will Pharaoh hearken to me, and I a man difficult of speech? And the Lord spake with Moshe and with Aaron, and gave them admonition for the sons of Israel, and sent them to Pharaoh, king of Mizraim, to send forth the children of Israel from the land of Mizraim. These are the heads of the house of the fathers. The sons of Reuben, the firstborn of Israel, Hanik and Phallu, Hezron and Carmi, these of the race of Reuben. And the sons of Shimeon, Jemuel, and Jamin, and Awad, and Jachin, and Socher, and Shaul, he is Zimri, who yielded himself unto fornication, as among the Canaan, these of the race of Shimeon. And these are the names of the sons of Levi, according to the race: Gershon, and Kehath, and Merari. And the years of the life of Levi 137 years. He lived to see Moshe and Aaron the deliverers of Israel. And the sons of Gershon, Libni and Shimei, according to their generations. And the sons of Kehath, Amram, and Jitshah, and Hebron, and Uzziel. And the years of the life of Kehath the saint, 133 years. He lived to see Phinehas, who is Elijah, the great priest, who is to be sent to the captivity of Israel at the end of the days. And the sons of Merari, Mahali and Mushi, these of the race of Levi, according to the generations. And Amram took Jochebed his cousin to wife, and she bare him Aaron and Moshe, and the years of Amram the saint were 137 years. He lived to see the children of Rechabia bar Gershom bar Moshe. And the sons of Jitshah were Korah and Nepheg, and Zitri. And the sons of Uzziel, Mishael, and Elzaphan, and Sithri. And Aaron took Elisheba, daughter of Aminadab, sister of Nashon, and to him to wife, and she bare him Nadab and Abihu, Elasah and Ithamar. And the sons of Korah, Asir, and Elkanah, and Abiasaph. These of the race of Korah. And Elasah bar Aaron took unto him a wife from the daughters of Jethro, who was Putiel, and she bare him Phinehas. These are the heads of the fathers of the Levites, according to their generations. These are Aaron and Moshe, to whom the Lord said, Bring forth the sons of Israel free from the land of Mizraim. According to the hosts, these are they who spake with Pharaoh, king of Mizraim, that he should send out the sons of Israel from Mizraim. It is Moshe the prophet, and Aaron the priest. And it was in the day when the Lord spake with Moshe in the land of Mizraim, that Aaron gave a listening ear, and heard what he spake with him. And the Lord spake with Moshe, and said to him, I am the Lord. Say to Pharaoh, king of Mizraim, all that I tell thee. And Moshe said before the Lord, Behold, I am difficult in speaking, how then will Pharaoh hearken to me? 7. But the Lord said to Moshe, Wherefore art thou fearful? Behold, I have set thee a terror to Pharaoh, as if thou wast his God, and Aaron thy brother shall be thy prophet. Thou shalt speak to Aaron that which I command thee, and Aaron thy brother shall speak to Pharaoh, that he release the sons of Israel from his land. But I will harden the disposition of Pharaoh's heart to multiply my signs and my wonders in the land of Mizraim. Nor will Pharaoh hearken to you. But I will shoot among them the arrows of death, and inflict the plagues of my mighty band upon Mizraim, and will bring out the sons of Israel free from among them. And Moshe and Aaron did as the Lord commanded them, even so did they. And Moshe was the son of 80 years, and Aaron the son of 83 years, at the speaking with Pharaoh. And the Lord spake to Moshe and to Aaron, saying, When Pharaoh talketh with you, saying, Give us a miracle, thou shalt say to Aaron, Take thy rod, and cast it down before Pharaoh, and it shall become a basilisk serpent. 2. For all the inhabitants of the earth shall hear the voice of the shriek of Mizraim when I shatter them, as all the creatures heard the shriek of the serpent when made naked at the beginning. Jerusalem. And throw down before Pharaoh. And Moshe and Aaron went in unto Pharaoh, and did as the Lord had commanded. And Aaron threw down the rod before the sight of Pharaoh, and before the sight of his servants, and it became a basilisk. But Pharaoh called the Hashems and magicians, and they also, Janus and Jambres, magicians of Mizraim, did the same by the burnings of divination. They threw down each man his rod, and they became basilisks. 3. But were forthwith changed to be what they were at first, and the rod of Aaron swallowed up the rods. And the disposition 4 of Pharaoh's heart was hardened, and he would not hearken to them, as the Lord had said. And the Lord said to Moshe, The disposition of Pharaoh's heart is obdurated in refusing to release the people. Go unto Pharaoh in the morning. Behold, he cometh forth to observe divinations at the water as a magician, so shalt thou prepare thee to meet him on the bank of the river. And Aaron's rod that was changed to be a serpent thou shalt take in thy hand. Jerusalem, to refresh himself at the river. And thou shalt say to him, The Lord God of the Jehudah hath sent me unto thee, saying, Release my people, that they may serve me in the desert. And, behold, as yet thou hast not hearkened. Thus saith the Lord, By this sign thou shalt know that I am the Lord. Behold, with the rod that is in my hand, I will smite the waters of the river, and they shall be changed into blood. And the fish that are in the river shall die, and the river become foul, and the Mizraim shall desist from drinking water from the river. And the Lord said to Moshe, Tell Aaron, Take thy rod and stretch forth thy hand over the waters of the Mizraim, over the rivers, over the trenches, over the canals, and over every place for collecting the waters, and they will become blood, and there shall be blood in all the land of Mizraim, and in vessels of wood and in vessels of stone. Jerusalem, in vases. And Moshe and Aaron did so, as the Lord commanded, and he lifted up the rod, and smote the waters of the river in the sight of Pharaoh, and in the sight of his servants, and all the waters of the river were turned into blood, and the fish that were in the river died, and the river became foul. And the Mizraim could not drink of the waters of the river, and the plague of blood was in all the land of Mizraim. But so also did the astrologers of Mizraim by the burnings, and turned the waters of Goshen into blood. And the design of Pharaoh's heart was strengthened, and he would not hearken to them, as the Lord had said. And Pharaoh did what was needful to him, and went into his house, nor did he set his heart upon this plague. And the Mizraim digged about the river for water to drink, but could not find them pure, for they were not able to drink of the water from the river. And 7 days were completed after the Lord had smitten the river, and the word of the Lord had afterward healed the river. And the Lord spoke to Moshe, Go in unto Pharaoh, and say to him, Thus saith the Lord, Emancipate my people, that they may serve before me. But if thou refuse to set them free, behold, I will plague all thy borders with frogs. And the river shall multiply frogs. And they shall ascend and come up into thy house, and into the bedchamber where thou sleepest, and upon thy couch, and into the house of thy servants. and among thy people, and into the ovens, and into thy baking troughs, and upon thy body, and upon the bodies of thy people, and upon all thy servants shall the frogs have power. 8. And the Lord said to Moshe, Lift up thy hand with thy rod over the rivers, over the trenches, and over the canals, Jerusalem, pools, and I will bring up the frogs upon the land of Mizraim. And Aaron uplifted his hand over the waters of Mizraim, and the plague of frogs came up and covered the land of Mizraim. But Moshe himself did not smite the waters, either with the blood or with the frogs, because through them, the waters of the Nile, he had found safety the time that his mother laid him in the river. And the astrologers did likewise by the burnings, and brought up frogs upon the land of Mizraim. And Pharaoh called to Moshe and to Aaron, saying, Pray before the Lord, that he may remove the frogs from me and from my people, and I will release the people to offer the sacrifices of a feast before the Lord. And Moshe said to Pharaoh, Glorify thyself on account of me. At what time dost thou request that I should pray for thee, and for thy servants, and for thy people, that the frogs may be destroyed from thee and from thy house, and be left only in the river? And he said, Tomorrow. And he said, According to thy word, that thou mayest know that there is none like the Lord our God. Jerusalem, give a sign, and keep at a distance, till I shall have prayed for thee. And the frogs shall depart from thee, and from thy house, and from thy servants, and from thy people, and those only that are in the river shall remain. And Moshe and Aaron went out from Pharaoh, and Moshe prayed before the Lord respecting the frogs, as he had proposed to Pharaoh. And the Lord did according to the word of Moshe, and the frogs died from the houses and from the courts and from the field, and they collected them in heaps and heaps, Jerusalem, heaps, heaps, and the land was corrupted. And Pharaoh saw that he was refreshed from his molestation, but hardened his heart, and would not hearken to them, as the Lord had said. And the Lord said to Moshe, Speak unto Aaron, Lift up thy rod and smite the dust of the earth, and it shall become venomous insects, 5 in all the land of Mizraim. But it shall not be by thee that the ground shall be smitten, because therein for thee was the means of safety when thou hadst slain the Mizrite, and it received him. And they did so. And Aaron lifted up his hand with his rod, and smote the dust of the ground, and it became a plague of venomous insects upon the flesh of men and of cattle. All the dust of the earth was changed to become insects in all the land of Mizraim. And the astrologers wrought with the burnings to bring forth the insects, but were not able, and the plague of insects prevailed upon men and upon cattle. And the astrologers said to Pharaoh, This is not by the power or strength of Moshe and Aaron, but this is a plague sent from before the Lord. Yet the design of Pharaoh's heart was strengthened, and he would not hearken to them, as the Lord had said. And the Lord spake to Moshe, Arise in the morning, and stand before Pharaoh. Behold, he goeth forth to observe divinations at the water, as a magician, and thou shalt say to him, Thus saith the Lord, Emancipate my people, that they may worship before me, but if thou wilt not set my people free, behold, I will stir up among thee, and thy servants, and thy people, and thy house, a mixed multitude of wild beasts, Jerusalem, a commixture, and the houses of the Mizraim shall be filled with a swarm of wild beasts, and they shall be upon the land also. And I will do wonders that day in the land of Goshen where my people dwell, that there no swarms of wild beasts shall be, that thou mayest know that I the Lord am the ruler in the midst of the land. And I will appoint redemption for my people, and upon thy people will I lay the plague. Tomorrow the sign shall be. And the Lord did so, and sent the mixed multitude of wild beasts in strength to the house of Pharaoh, and to the house of his servants, and in all the land of Mizraim the inhabitants of the land were devastated from the swarm of wild beasts. And Pharaoh called to Moshe and to Aaron, saying, Go, worship with festival sacrifices before the Lord your God in this land. But Moshe said, It will not be right to do so, because we shall take sheep, which are the abomination of the Mizraim, and offer them before the Lord our God. Behold, if we offer the abomination of the Mizraim before them, they would stone us with stones as an act of justice. We will go 3 days' journey into the wilderness to offer the festival sacrifices before our God, as he hath bidden us. And Pharaoh said, I will release you to sacrifice before the Lord your God in the wilderness, only you shall not go to a greater distance. Pray, too, for me. And Moshe said, I will go forth from thee, and pray before the Lord to remove the swarm of wild beasts from Pharaoh, and from his servants, and from his people. Tomorrow only let not Pharaoh add to deceive, in not releasing the people to offer the festal sacrifices before the Lord. And Moshe went out from Pharaoh, and prayed before the Lord, and the Lord did according to the word of the prayer of Moshe, and removed the swarm of wild beasts from Pharaoh, and from his servants, and from his people. Not one was left. Yet did Pharaoh strengthen the design of his heart this time or also, and release not the people. And the Lord said to Moshe, Go into Pharaoh, and say to him, Thus saith the Lord, the God of the Jehudah, emancipate my people, that they may worship before me. But if thou refuse to release, and hitherto thou hast constrained them, behold, the stroke of the Lord's hand shall be as it hath not been yet, upon thy cattle that are in the field, upon the horses, and upon the asses, upon the camels, oxen, and sheep, with a very mighty death. Jerusalem. Great conturbation. And the Lord will work wonders between the flocks of Israel and the flocks of the Mizraim, that not any of those which belong to the sons of Israel shall die. And the Lord set a time, saying, Tomorrow will the Lord do this thing in the land. And the Lord did that thing the day after, and all the cattle of the Mizraim died, but of the cattle of the sons of Israel died not one. And Pharaoh sent certain to look, and behold, not one of the cattle of the sons of Israel had died, not even one. But the disposition of Pharaoh's heart was aggravated, and he would not release the people. And the Lord said to Moshe and to Aaron, Take with you hands full of fine ashes from the furnace, and let Moshe sprinkle them towards the height of the heavens in the sight of Pharaoh. And the dust shall be upon all the land of Mizraim, upon man and upon beast, for a boil, producing tumors in all the land of Mizraim. Jerusalem. Tumors. And they took ashes of the furnace, and arose to meet Pharaoh, and Moshe sprinkled them towards the height of the heavens, and there came a boil multiplying tumors upon man and beast. And the astrologers could not stand before Moshe on account of the boil, for the plague of the boil was upon the astrologers, and upon all the Mizraim. And the Lord hardened the design of Pharaoh's heart, and he would not hearken to them, as the Lord had said to Moshe. And the Lord said to Moshe, Arise in the morning, and place thyself before Pharaoh, and say to him, Thus saith the Lord, the God of the Jehudah, emancipate my people, that they may worship before me. For at this time I will send upon thee a plague from the heavens. And all my plagues wherewith I have plagued thee thou wilt cause to return upon thy heart, and upon thy servants, and upon thy people, plagues which have been sent from before me, and not from the magic of the sons of men, that thou mayest know that there is none like me in all the earth. Now could I send the plague of my strength by judgment, or with justice, to strike thee and thy people with death, and destroy thee from the earth, but verily I have spared thee alive. Not that I may benefit thee, but that my power may be made manifest to thee, and that my holy name may be made known in all the earth. Hitherto hast thou tyrannized over my people, instead of releasing them. Jerusalem. Relentlessly. Behold, at this time tomorrow I will cause to come down from the treasures of the heavens a mighty haul, the like of which hath never been in Mizraim since the day when men were settled upon it until now. But now send, gather together thy flocks, and all that thou hast in the field, for upon all men and cattle that are found in the field, and not gathered together within the house, will the hail come down, and they will die. Hiv. Job, who reverenced the word of the Lord, among the servants of Pharaoh, gathered together his servants and his flocks within the house. But Bileam, who did not set his heart upon the word of the Lord, left his servants and his flocks in the field. And the Lord said to Moshe, Uplift thy hand towards the height of the heavens, and there shall be hail on all the land of Mizraim, upon men, and upon beasts, and upon every herb of the field in the land of Mizraim. And Moshe lifted up his rod toward the height of the heavens. And the Lord gave forth thunders and hailstones with flaming fire upon the ground. The Lord made the hail descend upon the land of Mizraim. And there was hail and fire darting among the hail with exceeding force. And to it had never been the like in all the land of Mizraim ever since it was a nation and a kingdom. And the hail smote in all the land of Mizraim whatsoever was in the field, of men and of cattle, and all the herbage of the field the hail smote, and every tree of the field it shattered and uprooted. Only in the land of Goshen, where the children of Israel were, there was no hail. And Pharaoh sent certain to call Moshe and Aaron, and he said to them, This time I have sinned. I know that the Lord is a righteous God, and that I and my people have deserved every one of these plagues. Intercede before the Lord, that with him it may be enough, and there may be no more maledictory thunders nor hail from the presence of the Lord, and I will release you, and no longer hinder. And Moshe said to him, When I have gone out from thee into the city, I will outspread my hands in prayer before the Lord, and the thunders shall cease, and there shall be no more hail, that you may know that the earth is the Lord's. But I know that thou and thy servants release the people, they will have to be afraid before the Lord God. And the flax and the barley were beaten down, because the barley was in the ear, and the flax was making pods. Jerusalem. The flax was making pods, for it had cast its flowers, but the wheat and the spelt were not smitten, because they are later. And Moshe and Aaron went out from Pharaoh to the suburb. And he stretched out his hands in prayer before the Lord, and the thunders of the curse were withheld, and the hail and rain that were descending came not on the earth. And Pharaoh saw that the rain and hail and the thunders of the curse had ended, and he added to sin, and made strong the design of his heart, both he and his servants. And Pharaoh's heart was made obstinate, and he would not release the children of Israel, as the Lord had said through Moshe.